is the Bangladesh Member of Parliament's member's death. The details of the grisly murder of the Bangladesh MP Anwarul Azim's murder in Kolkata has, of course, left everyone shocked. The suspected mastermind of the murder, Akhtaruzzaman Shaheen, is said to have escaped from Kathmandu to the United States via Dubai, and Bangladesh will now be collaborating with the Interpol to probe the murder case. As per details that have emerged, Shaheen had rented a flat in Kolkata's New Town and hired a woman who honey-trapped the Bangladesh Member of Parliament, a butcher, and two others to carry out his plan. Azim arrived in Kolkata on the 12th of May for medical treatment and was murdered on the 13th of May. His body is learned to have been chopped into several pieces and disposed of. Meanwhile, this murder case has raised several questions. Who really were these people, and under what guise did they enter India? Also, how is it that we can now cooperate with the Bangladeshi cops as well as Interpol to find the culprits and extradite them so that they can face a trial in Bangladesh? The most important question is, why was the murder carried out on Indian soil? I take these questions forward. With me on the broadcast is Major General Dhruv Katoch. We also have with us Joyita Basu, Ambassador Veena Sikri, and Sanjay Sahai also with us on the broadcast. Let me begin this conversation with Ambassador Sikri. Ambassador Sikri, it's a grisly murder, ma'am, that has taken place on Indian soil. And we're now learning more and more details about the mastermind, who we've learned has escaped from Kathmandu and has found his way to the United States of America. What really do you feel will be the way forward as far as the probe is now concerned?
Well, I think I agree with you. This has been a shocking incident. It's, first of all, the very cruelty and bestiality and the well-planned, the detailed, intricate, planned way in which this murder has been executed. It reminds one of some very famous murders that took place, in Turkey and so on some years ago. So I think one has to be quite shocked that this kind of murder has happened, and it has happened on Indian soil. The person who has been killed is a member of parliament of the Awami League, a 3-time member of parliament of the Awami League, and he comes from a region called Junaida, which is known as to be a fairly crime-infested region of Bangladesh, fairly near the border, the Darshanagede border with India. And I must say that in recent months and years, I would say, as the cattle smuggling incidents went down, because the government had taken some very strong steps on even preventing movement of cattle from one state to another, and the previous instances of overcrowded trucks full of cattle going to the Bangladesh border, all that had more or less disappeared. Bangladesh has developed its own dairy and animal husbandry sectors, and the cattle smuggling had gone down at the border. But over the last few months and years, we've heard more and more about gold smuggling. And gold smuggling incidents have gone up hugely at the Bangladesh-India border. And you find that you find people there who are wearing belts with gold coins of different denominations moving around in the border areas. Now, this is a matter of some concern, because the criminalization of the India-Bangladesh border is a matter of deep concern for India and Bangladesh. Earlier, when cattle smuggling was the greatest activity, we did our best at all times to stop it. And with the efforts of the government over the last few years, it had come down. But now gold smuggling is even more dangerous and creates even more enmity and gang activity and mafia activity. And we've seen the result of it, because the coverage in the Bangladesh media of this incident has shown that this particular member of parliament had been trying to gain full control of the gold smuggling at across the Bangladesh-India border. And as a result of this, he had run into enmity with some of the other actors involved. Yes. Now, we've seen that some of the actors involved, one of them is a US-Bangladesh citizen holding dual nationality of the USA and Bangladesh. His name is Akhtaruzzaman, and he is, it is estimated, has left through Nepal and reached back in the USA. So there's a question of extradition. We have to ask for the extradition. The other point is that we've seen that some Bangladeshi illegal immigrants are involved, and it is quite a remarkable feat of the West Bengal government that they located this person, an illegal immigrant living in Bombay, who is said to have been the butcher involved in this horrible, grisly incident. And so obviously it shows that there are these illegal immigrants. The West Bengal police seems to have the hold of them, the number of them and where they are. And obviously this is another issue that we have to tackle, because the involvement of illegal immigrants in criminal activities on Indian soil is certainly a very undesirable part of what has happened, and we have to look at it very seriously. The good part is that the Indian and Bangladesh authorities are cooperating very seriously and very effectively. And we've already seen an exchange of visits between the Bangladesh police authorities and the West Bengal police authorities. But maybe some central police authorities may also be drawn in, because we have to get into this in greater detail.
Absolutely. Master Secretary, I'll come back to you in just a moment. Jyota, bring you into the conversation here. I just want to understand from your perspective, why do you think that the murderers and killers in this particular case decided to carry out this particular plot on Indian soil? Because we are talking about a Bangladeshi member of parliament who was traveling to India, and they could have, the fact that these are some of them were also professional killers. The main mastermind, we've been told, escaped to Kathmandu. From there, he is now in the United States of America. So clearly, they did have the wherewithal to also perhaps carry out a similar plot in Bangladesh itself. Why do you think they chose India?
Well, number one, in fact, if you ask me, West Bengal is now becoming some kind of, if I can, extension of Bangladeshi crime scene. Let's put it this way. Because, and a lot of these, cattle smuggling, even I have been hearing that cattle smuggling has been brought under control. But it is not just gold, people smuggling also takes place. And this border is such, it is a porous border. But I am certain in this case, did these people come legally? So the whole point is, you see, I think it will be easier for them to escape scrutiny. I think that is the reason why they they decided to carry this out in Kolkata. They thought that they will get away by it, but it's a different matter that the Kolkata police, for once, they proved to be, alert enough, and they caught the culprits. So although the main one, the mastermind, he fled. So the whole thing is, you see, there's a whole, it's all about attitude. It's all about the willingness to look away from what is actually going on. This criminal network that functions between Bangladesh and particularly that part of India, meaning West Bengal and the eastern part of West Bengal, the bordering that area of Bangladesh, this has been going on for decades now. One of the reasons why West Bengal is witnessing, there's an influx of Bangladeshis into India, it is coming all through West Bengal. So you see, this is everything that you witness that's happening, it's kind of one aspect of that. So this murder, it became very grisly, it is in the national news because something so grisly took place, and this man is an MP that this happened. But if you scratch below the surface, terrorist movement, it's rampant, it happens. Bangladesh border, India-Bangladesh border, that is where they come in from, and there is nobody to check them. So you see, if you ask me, Bengal is right now sitting on a powder keg.
Okay, all right. I want to bring in Mr. Sahai into the conversation as well. Mr. Sahai, when you read the details of the case and some of the details of the mastermind himself, what really are your first thoughts on where the investigation, what track the investigation should be taking at this point in time?
See, first and foremost, this is a very meticulous, planned murder to the minutest detail, wherein the main mastermind disappeared on the 10th, and even after the murder getting committed on the 15th, the lady who honey trapped, she missed away with another major accused of the crime. So they found it convenient for this gentleman who has been visiting Calcutta on a regular basis, his friend Mr. Biswas, and that is how this whole honey trap was laid. Now, given the facts of the case, I'm extremely happy about the fact that the Calcutta police has brought out the contours of the case with extreme amount of clarity. And if you get into the chronology of things from the 10th till the current moment, I think the whole chain of investigation, first is all the incidents related to the crime, and then the investigation has come out with utmost amount of clarity. There has also been an arrest which has taken place in Bangladesh, and two other persons with the lady who honey trapped this gentleman. So that part of investigation is happening there. The Home Minister of Bangladesh has said that they have been interacting with the concerned countries and the Interpol to bring these people to book. As far as India is concerned, and as the offense happened on Indian soil, so we will have to go in for extradition process. And the sooner the better is one of the gravest crimes. I think it is a manifestation of all that happens on a porous border and also the nature of international smuggling, which is really hitting the rooftop all around the place. And the last one consignment, which was worth 100 crore takas, I think that is where from the whole genesis has started. So all the key players of this particular crime are well known. The motive is known. How it has been executed is known. The body is still to be found, or the dismembered pieces have still to be found. And the main contract killers. One person is already there who has confessed to the crime. There is a CCTV footage. And there are circumstantial evidence to prove that the crime has happened. There have been bloodstains at the scene of offense. So broadly, I think things are on the track. And clear-cut, very neat cooperation on the details of the case so as to pinpoint from an investigative point of view what is desired. There will be a huge amount of digital evidence also in this particular case, starting from
Yes.
CCTV. And there will be a variety of other things, inclusive of phone and your call locators and variety of other things which will piece together. So this is broadly where we are. And I think large component of it will depend on the nature of international collaboration and how we bring this person to book, who is an American citizen but has solid links in the illegal gold smuggling, which is happening in Bangladesh. And one last point is that the way the politicians get hooked on to these nature of crimes and also remain very, very carefree. Might be in Bangladesh, should be carrying some security cover, which does not have in India. Whatever the exact details of his movement and his security cover, I'm not aware of, but I think it's a very meticulously planned. The Calcutta police have been able to bring forth the main contours of the case very clearly, have made the arrests. Some arrests have taken place in Bangladesh. The route, at least, of the main conspirator, that is pretty well known, and also
Yes.
the movements of the major accused is known. So I think a neat collaboration completely on scientific, forensic and circumstantial evidence will show us the way.
Okay, talking about cooperation in terms of the investigation is going, I want to bring in Ambassador Sikri back into the conversation. Ambassador Sikri, just want to understand from you. Now, the main mastermind, this man, Akhtaruzzaman Shaheen, was a Bangladeshi citizen actually living in the United States of America. And as per reports, he's now gone back to the US. In such sort of matters, then what really becomes the procedure as far as extradition is concerned?
Well, of course, once the case has been, established and filed in the court, and from the investigation, if the culpability of Akhtaruzzaman Shaheen has been established beyond any reasonable doubt, then India has every right to go to Interpol, have a red corner notice issued against Akhtaruzzaman, and then also take it up with the US government that since the person is an American citizen, and there must definitely be records of him having entered back into the US from his visit to Nepal and to India as well, because he must have entered India as well. There must be record that he would have entered India, and all these records are there. All these need to be put together. He would have exited via the Nepal border. Maybe at the border there'll be some evidence there as well. So all these investigations must be going on, and once the picture has been assembled and the case filed and the FIR established, then we have every right to go with the Interpol notice and so on. And I think it's important to do that because I think the India-Bangladesh border is becoming more and more dangerous. The border with Pakistan is much more fortified, and there is even there, we had drug smuggling taking place. But now we have all these events taking place on the India-Bangladesh border where the fortification is much less. We have drug smuggling going on. We have the Yaba tablets coming through the Rohingyas and others, which come from Myanmar into the Rohingya camps and then find their way into India. Gold smuggling and trafficking of women and children. This has been a huge and very serious humanitarian problem, which is written about very often, not so much in the Indian media, but very much in the Bangladesh media, because many young women and girls are involved in it, and they're trafficked into the worst possible circumstances, into brothels in India, and then also sent to third countries like Dubai. So I think these problems are really serious, and they need to be taken up. There's need for strong cooperation between the governments of India and Bangladesh. I have no doubt that such cooperation will be forthcoming, because Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina has been taking strong action in her government. There's also increasing radicalization going on in Bangladesh, and increasing articles about radical groups coming up in Bangladesh. Again, Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina's government takes strong action against these groups, but the more you take action against one group, two others spring up from somewhere else. So there is a very serious problem on these issues within Bangladesh, and India and Bangladesh do have a Home Minister level cooperation. We have a BSF, BGB level cooperation, regular cooperation once or twice a year. The Director Generals meet, but these issues need to be taken up very forcefully and answers found. And if the cooperation is regular, just as we have seen now, that as a result of the cooperation between the two police forces of West Bengal and Bangladesh, quick answers have been found to a lot of very knotty questions and very difficult questions. And similarly, if we extend this cooperation to other areas, to the border guards Bangladesh, to the army and other institutions in Bangladesh that look after such matters, we should be able to get a much more peaceful border going between India and Bangladesh. But this needs high priority at this time.
Right, absolutely. I want to bring in Major Dhruv Katoch into the conversation as well. Major Dhruv Katoch, just the same question from your perspective, sir. Just want to understand, why do you think the killers in this particular case chose to carry out the murder in India? Because this is the mastermind is a Bangladeshi citizen living in the United States of America. And as per some reports, he also hired professional killers from Bangladesh to enter India and carry out this particular plot. A butcher is then also hired from Mumbai for the same. So clearly a lot of coordination has gone into carrying out this murder. But ultimately, at least as far as the cops are concerned, the main suspect and the names, IDs, identification of the main suspects is already out in the open. So despite an attempt being made to really conceal the identities of the murders, none of that has happened. Why do you think then they chose India to carry out the murder? Because clearly they would have known that if a member of parliament of another country dies on Indian soil, it will of course become a matter of international importance.
Yes, I totally agree with you there. But let me put it across in a different light. You know, this particular, he's a member of parliament. He's involved in gold smuggling. He may have been involved in other activities also. We don't know. But his support system within Bangladesh would have been very strong. And perhaps there was a thought process that if he's outside the country, then perhaps he would keep his guard a bit lower than what he does in Bangladesh. And I presume that is what happened, because when he came to India, I don't think he would have anticipated, being a member of parliament, to have been placed on such a, he wouldn't have anticipated such a high level of attack being carried out on him, and such a sophisticated attack too. That is one. The second thing which I think is that the perpetrators, they would have thought that once it is carried out in India, they have a better chance of getting away. No, that of course has not has not happened. But that would have been, I think, their thought process when they carried out the planning stages of the attack. That should we do it in India, we can have this chap taken out, and then we can get away. The important part was taking him out and getting away. Now it hasn't worked out in the extent to the way they have planned, because we know that the key perpetrator is in the United States. But we really don't know who that key perpetrator is and why he may be a US citizen having a dual citizenship. Does he have any relationship or any dealings with the intelligence agencies of the United States? That question, I think, will remain unanswered for a very, very long time. We don't know we don't know about that. But I think there's another larger issue which now needs to be addressed. It is the entire question of illegal immigrants. And unless this question is addressed on a very, very big scale, we are likely to face very major conflict situations within the country by which by paying a certain amount of money to certain groups of individuals, you can actually instigate riots in various parts of the country because these illegal immigrants are spread all over. So I think it is, as far as India is concerned, besides the fact that a foreign national who happens to be a member of parliament of Bangladesh has been murdered inside our territory, I think it opens up very serious concerns for internal security as well. And that is something which I think we need to be very, very careful about.
Right, absolutely. I'll bring you back to the conversation. So, Joyita, on the aspect then of illegal immigrants and this particular incident now shedding some more light on that growing problem, as Major Dhruv Katoch also pointed out. How do you think that the nation can then be brought on the same page as far as this is concerned? Because when we talk about CAA, when we talk about NRC, it is the West Bengal government that is the first government to say that we don't reject it, that we will never accept this because this is all a part of BJP propaganda.
Well, when you are looking at West Bengal, what's happening over there is you see all these people come, they get fake papers, fake documents, they are given fake documents, and I would say sections of the administration itself, they kind of ensure that these people get Aadhaar cards and all and become Indian citizens. So there is a reason why the West Bengal government in particular is so against implementing of NRC. It's happening even in Assam. It has happened in Assam over the decades, as a result of which what has happened is you see certain areas of, I mean, they are saying by 2050 the indigenous population of Assam will go into a minority status. Such has been the scale of infiltration. But actually when the NRC was done in Assam, what was found? It was more than the infiltrators. You see, if you are going to do them in terms of that religious profiling of the infiltrators, if you are going to do, it is Assam's majority religion who were kind of targeted by the NRC, and the minority population, as it happened, they were much fewer in number. So why was that? That is because there is a network already present even in Assam, in certain districts, and in Bengal, I would say in all the districts, where it makes easier for these infiltrators to get documents. So that is that is the main reason why the West Bengal government is not willing to implement NRC in the state. That is the main reason why I would say a section of that population also they are. But you see, what Mamata also does is Mamata is also very adept at twisting facts and campaigning it in a manner that she is very good at scaring people. So it is going to be next to impossible right now, as long as this current government continues to have NRC implemented in Bengal. In Assam, we have already seen frankly, the process has been a failure. So I don't see NRC bringing in any hope in this.
Okay, I want to bring in Mr. Sahai back into the conversation. Mr. Sahai, do you feel that this incident then puts some sort of a renewed light and requirement to then look at the problem of illegal, infiltration and immigration?
We have to get into the illegal immigration part of it. There's absolutely nothing which can be more problematic than having a citizen who is actually not a citizen, in inverted commas. And if the system, as the earlier speaker was talking about, is conspiring to give that legal status, that is a very, very dangerous trend as to whatever might be the political dispensation who is involved in that and whatever might be the nature of purpose for which you are involved. Illegal immigration, if you take any other country, and when any citizen comes to this country over overstay, I think we create the level of scare which is unimaginable. You take Pakistani nationals, there are a variety of other nationals who continue to stay beyond their visa period or whatever is their legal period of stay. After that, every single day, it has to be accounted for. Even a visa extension, they have to give a variety of reasons. Here we have people coming in large numbers for whom there is a congenial atmosphere being provided, if I go by whatever has been spoken by the earlier speaker. So that certainly goes against any level of sanity which can be brought into the legal process or finding sleeping partners or finding people from the same origin who can get into an act of the nature which they did, as far as the MP's murder is concerned. So it is a tinderbox on which we are, if that is the real situation, and I presume at least there is a certain amount of grey area which exists, and the whole immigration system has to be brought to a level where precision, legal precision, is the only thing which we should get into. And there has to be a verification of a nature which has to be completely foolproof. And as long as that does not happen, and whosoever is interested comes to India and mingles into the Indian crowd, and slowly you get documents, whatever are required, in an easy manner, I think these issues will keep on happening. And currently, out of those other main killers also, we don't know what their status are. So might be because of secrecy of investigation, or we don't know much more details about it. So we're not sure of the fact as to what their antecedents are. But as far as this butcher, that person is concerned, Ziad Hawladar. So that fellow certainly entered into India, was in Mumbai, and he could make his way to Kolkata, been there for quite a long time. He has been out of police scrutiny in whichever way. And he has been able to bring this particular act into reality.
Okay, Major and Dhruv Katoch, your thoughts on the same as well. So how do we then deal with the issue of infiltration, with the issue of illegal immigration from the actual lens that it requires to be looked at, rather than it becoming now another matter for a political slugfest to take place?
Actually, this is going to be a very difficult task, because, as has been very rightly brought out by the earlier speakers, there is a involvement of the local state administration, including the political dispensation, in permitting this entry. There have been cases which have been recorded earlier, much earlier in Assam, by which, there were a proper, this is about 10 to 15 years back, there were proper areas where these people would be herded into, and where they would be given their new identities. Now, all of this was organized with state connivance. Today, the situation is slightly different, and this has come down to a very great extent. But we still have there may be 1 million or a few million of these illegals spread all across India, from Kerala to West Bengal to Mumbai to Assam. That is the spread. There is no easy answer, but I think the state governments ultimately will have to get active. The local public will have to get active, and we've got to shed this attitude that, okay, just because we're going to get the illegals out, it is a target on a particular community. It is not a target on Muslims. It is a target on illegal immigrants who happen to be Muslims. Well, that is just too bad. But unless we take it very seriously as a state and as a country, the problems of India are going to intensify to a very great extent. And I hope that it is taken up by the citizens of India, by the police forces of the respective states, and by the center in a holistic manner.
Right, absolutely. That's all the time that we have, and I thank all of our panelists for joining us to take this very, very important conversation forward. We will, of course, continue to track further developments in this particular case.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.